I have a motion to come out of executive session. Thank you, Dr. Kukunis. Can I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Conley. Welcome, everybody, to the Riverhead School District Business Meeting. All in favor? Can we have a pledge? All rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay. Opportunity for high school student representative.
Through the current situation that we are being faced with, I find many students be looking at the negatives that have been happening because of the cohorts, when we should be looking at the positive. Such as with having less students in classes, the students over the years that have shied away from participating in classes are now actively engaging in classes and feel more confident in asking questions. To also say, many students do not have the usual friends in classes, so many people are being obligated to potentially go out of their comfort zone and make new friends. Finally, with cohorts, we have come to see that the amount of usual classroom distractions have significantly decreased. Last Thursday, we had a senior forum, which involved our current seniors, parents and guardians, and the PTSO members. We have discussed these events that are currently in planning. The scavenger hunts, the senior picnic, lip sync battles, student spotlights, hallway transformations, and many more events that are coming. On Monday, we will be holding our annual Spirit Week. This year's themes are Decade Day, Disney Character Day, Monochromatic Day, Jersey Day, and School Spirit Day. There will also be the Chalk Walk. During Chalk the Walk, students will have the opportunity to draw or write something in our current courtyard. Lastly, the PTSO has created a memory wall where students are encouraged to submit in photos, memories, or drawings to be placed in our class section outside of the auditorium.
Hello, good evening. I wanted to start off by
Can you pull the mic down? Pull the mic down a little bit and talk a little more direct into it. Thank you.
Of course. Good evening. I wanted to start off by thanking you for giving me the opportunity once again to speak in the Board of Education meetings. Tonight, I wanted to discuss the recent Long Island Regional Student Forum that occurred last Friday. We were invited along with 216 students and teachers to discuss in breakout rooms how we have been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as how our school is reacting to that and how we have faced different challenges. I saw that as we discussed, we surfaced an issue, and they thought that the student and teacher connections were being less this year, and therefore we decided that in order to fix those things, we needed to just reach out. And I thought that I was so happy to share with them that Riverhead has done such a great job with that. We have had, like, in the mornings we get these forms that we have to fill out that just ask us how we're doing, and it's just been positive to know that our teachers as well as our staff and our principal is very active in reaching out and just providing us the resources that we need so that we feel heard and that we're able to share. Like Amani was mentioning, we recently had a student forum, and that lets us know as a student that we're being heard, and opportunities like this as well gives us the opportunity so that we know we're being heard of. And that's pretty much all I wanted to share tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Ms. Downs, can we just get their names for the minutes, please?
Excuse me?
Can we get their names for the minutes?
Sure. Ladies, could you give your names to the district clerk? Read them
Hi.
off. Yeah, just say it into the microphone.
My name is Amani Thomas.
And what grade?
I'm a senior.
Thank you.
My name is Angela Squishambo, and I'm a senior.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. You did a great job. Do we have any public comments on the agenda items? Miss Lisa, nothing came through the email? Okie dokie. Okay, so move on to the superintendent's report. Ms. Toner?
Thank you, Mrs. Downs. Good evening, everyone. I know the students headed out already because they probably have homework and things to do, but they did a wonderful job this evening sharing the different activities that are happening at the high school. So it was very exciting for me to hear that there's some great activities being planned for the students and that they're involved in the planning. So thank you, and thank you to our high school administration for working with the students to make a plan. Earlier today, I sent a robocall and a letter out. Unfortunately, the Roanoke Avenue Elementary School needs to close for quarantine for 2 weeks. It saddens me that we're at this point in time. Unfortunately, we've seen a rise in some COVID cases here in the district as well as across Long Island. So it's just a reminder that unfortunately this health situation is taking its toll on all of us, and we certainly wish it could be different. But in the alternate, I'm very happy to announce on the agenda tonight, OLA of Eastern Long Island is, the board is accepting a donation from OLA this evening for Chromebooks and licenses for student software. Between the spring and currently the fall, they've made almost a $1 million donation to our district. These devices are allowing students who didn't have access before to have access to devices, whether they're a hybrid student, partially in attending school, or full remote, or in the unfortunate situation, should we be forced to all be full remote, many of these students will be able to access technology that wouldn't have been able to before. So we are looking to recognize the representatives from OLA at our next Board of Education meeting. They couldn't join us tonight, but they intend to join us on the 24th so that we can thank them for their generosity. On November 19th at 7 p.m., I hope that the Board of Education can join, as well as staff members and members of the community, our family members, to our first Community Diversity and Cross-Cultural Task Force. The committee and I are very excited about what we have planned, and we'll be celebrating the diversity of our community, as well as having discussions about next steps and plans to promote the academic and social emotional needs of all of our students so that they can reach success. So I'll be sending out communication later this week, and I hope people can join us. We have created a new system for reviewing residency concerns, as has been mentioned previously. During the month of October, 8 students have been removed from enrollment based on follow-up on returned mail to the district or lack of attendance. So once a concern is brought to our attention, phone calls are made to that family, home visits are made if needed, residency letters are sent if necessary, and if proof of residency is not provided, the student can be removed from enrollment. And we'll continue to follow this procedure and continue to take appropriate actions. So a re-entry update, Monday, November 16th, the 7th through 12th grade students in the middle school and the high school will be moving from 3 cohorts to 2 cohorts. So Wednesday will be a non-attendance day. That will be a day where the teachers by department will have the opportunity to, the students will have the opportunity to log on at different times depending on the subject area that they'd like to get some support in, as well as provide the teachers the opportunity to connect with the full remote students on the secondary level. We are also moving towards live synchronous instruction for grades 7 through 12, so live streaming. We don't have a specific start date yet, but we are looking to explore the different procedures so that we can communicate that in the next couple of weeks. So we're happy to be moving in that direction. Our K-4 students are scheduled to return full-time on November 30th. That's the Monday after Thanksgiving. And Pulaski Street, we're waiting on a date for when the barriers for Pulaski will be ready. So we're looking to push that return date for full-time instruction to after the December break, approximately January 4th. But we'll be communicating once we know for certain what those dates are. And as I mentioned a moment ago, We have had several positive COVID cases. As we approach the holiday season, it is vitally important that we are all mindful of our actions and possible consequences of not following the recommended health guidance. Please remember to avoid large gatherings, maintain physical distance, wear a mask, and wash your hands. Together, we can keep our community as safe as possible. And tomorrow is Veterans Day, so I would like to thank everyone in the community for their service and their dedication to our country and community, and we thank you for your service.
Ms. Toner. Okay, so from here, we move on to consent agenda. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Dr. Kukunis. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, oh yeah. Thank you. Wallace. Any comments? None being seen. All in favor? Motion passes. The Committee on Special Education. Can I have a motion? Okey dokey. The approval of the 2020-2021 Budget Development Calendar. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments, cares, or concerns? Not seeing any. All in favor? Motion passes. Approval of amended contract. This is where we had Summit Security Company, and they sold out to Universal Protection Services. And we're just changing, it's the same contract, we're just changing the name on the contract.
Motion.
Thank you. Any comments?
Second.
Cares or concerns? None? None? All in favor? Motion passes. Third and final reading of the revised board policy. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Dr. Kukunis. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Henley. Any cares or concerns? Not seeing any. All in favor? Motion passes. Acceptance of donation. This is the donation of the Chromebooks, 1,723 Chromebooks, and an associated software licensing from OLA of the East End. We really appreciate this. This is a really awesome donation. Can I have a motion?
A motion with a big thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I have a second?
Second with a big thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hanley.
Haley.
Hanley. All in favor? Motion passes. Opportunity for board members. We have, there's no committee reports at this time, right? No committee. Board member remarks?
I do.
Go right ahead, Mr. Dorr.
Mr. Schneider, has we received any aid runs from the state since our last meeting?
Nothing that hasn't been reported to the board in the superintendent's weekly update. And if there's anything else that comes in by Friday, I'll be sure to ask the superintendent to include it.
And we haven't had any cuts from Albany?
I've received no information so far. As soon as I know, I will make sure that the superintendent tells the board.
Thank you. I do see some students out there. I was hoping to get a vote again tonight on using reserves. We've decided to wait another meeting to receive more information, but another vote I'm hoping is coming soon.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. I'm glad Mr. Dorr brought it up that we're going to take a look. We are being mindful, but also prudent. We just need more information.
Okay, thank you. And I want to congratulate Ravi Manucha. Ravi is a senior here at Riverhead, and he's been recognized as and commended student in the 2021 National Merit Scholarship Program because of his outstanding scores on the qualifying exam. Ravi is among 34,000 students throughout the nation, including Ravi, are recognized for their exceptional academic promise. He is, with his 34,000 peers, he's in the top 5% out of 1.5 million students who entered the scholarship program. Congratulations, Ravi. You make Riverhead proud. Okay, we can move on to no other board members. Okay, we could move on to public comments. Oh, RCFA. You're here.
I'm here. Thank you, Gregory Wallace, Calverton RCFA president. For many of us, 2020 has been one of the most complicated years of our personal and professional lives. COVID-19 has derailed everything from day-to-day activities to rites of passage that we all hold dear and have taken for granted. Everyone is just worn out from the pandemic. The fatigue we feel is feeding a slow-burning anger towards the situation we find ourselves in. Now add in the failed budget to the mix, and the anger only grows. The polarization surrounding the pandemic, our school, and the circumstances we find ourselves in is intense. When you take a few moments to view the blogs or the social media, it seems to be intensifying. The drumbeat of negativity has a dehumanizing effect, as public servants are viewed in some circles as a monolithic group who are culpable for our current state of affairs. We have heard a faint, yet what appears to be a consistent message where an individual board member seems to be telegraphing that the teachers of this district should be scapegoats or somehow responsible for the loss of sports, clubs, and music that has resulted from this failed budget. The teachers of this district were unequivocally devastated when the community rejected the 2021 budget. I challenge anyone to find another group of individuals who put forth more effort on behalf of this district for the passage of the budget. The Vote Yes signs, which community members displayed on their lawns, were secured and distributed by the organization that represents the educators in this district. We made flyers and sent text messages. Over 100 RCFA members made 5,000 phone calls to voters in the school district asking them to support the budget and the children of this community. We all feel the pain of a failed budget, and we all feel the pain of this disjointed existence we've been navigating through since the start of the COVID-19 outbreak. Despite the Herculean efforts of educators in this community, we still have individuals seeking to delegitimize our efforts and paint the teachers as well as the organization which represents them as villains. We hear the whispers that seem to be crescendoing. Teachers do not do extra if they're not paid. And statements made by a board trustee from the dais in open session have alluded to such. Upon the closure of schools by the governor in March, no one was prepared for the road ahead of us. Exclusively remote instruction was something we never trained for. Programs like Seesaw, Google Classroom, and Padlet were foreign to many teachers, parents, and students alike. What started out as a few emails extending help to colleagues developed into a full-blown professional development program arranged and executed solely by the RCFA for the direct benefit of the students of this district. Between April 14th and June 11th, there were over 60 sessions covering Jamboard, Zoom, Padlet, Loom, Pear Deck, and Flipgrid. A number of these sessions went on for multiple hours, as our staff learn these programs on the fly to improve the education for the students of our district. Some of these classes only had a handful of Riverhead teachers attend, while others had dozens. The high watermark for attendance was a Google Slides class taught by Robert Brendy on May 15th. 76 RCFA members logged on to that session. Not only were the RCFA members who ran these sessions not compensated for their time, they did not seek compensation. There was not enough time to go through the approval process, and our students could not wait. We needed the training, and we needed it right away. Kim Bankert, Elena Philcox, Marissa DeSerio, Cindy Haverty, Tracy Martin, Paula Almonte, James Richardson, Kim McGurk, and Stephanie Carrera were just some of the educators who gave their time and expertise for the children of our community. By the second week in June, nearly 75% of the membership had taken one training, with the vast majority of them sitting for multiple sessions. By the end of March, it was quite clear that the district did not have enough devices for students. The RCFA, in conjunction with Oyster Ponds Teachers Association, Greenport Teachers Association, Southold Faculty Association, and Mattatuck-Cutchogue Teachers Association formed the North Fork Tech Project. The sole purpose of this consortium was to put a computer in the hands of children across the North Fork. When it was all said and done, the collective project raised over $25,000 for Chromebooks. Oyster Ponds received 1 computer. Greenport received 15. Mattatuck received 2. The students of Riverhead received 192 Chromebooks. We, like many in this community, are truly saddened that the budget was voted down. We are also truly saddened that our children are missing out on so much, not only as a result of the failed budget, but from a global pandemic that is very real, dangerous, and at this point shows no sign of abating. My question is, what constitutes extra and who defines it? Alluding to or saying directly that the teachers of Riverhead are not doing everything they can for the children of this district during this time by isolating a singular item in a sea of adversity is short-sighted, nefarious, or willfully ignorant, and attempts to delegitimize the efforts of every single staff member here at Riverhead. No matter what is said by whom, the smiles we have created will not be delegitimized. The tears we have dried will not be delegitimized. The doors we have opened for children will not be delegitimized. And the lives we have fundamentally made better through our service to this community will not be delegitimized.
Thank you. Okay, opportunity for public.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Carragher. I'm a senior at Riverhead High School, and I would just like to say that thank you, Mr. Dorr, for fighting for another revote, and also thank you to Mr. O'Hara for our senior forum that we were listened to on our ideas on how we can make our senior year better. I feel like this is a great step, but I feel like we could go a lot further. And also with the revote and everything, I want everybody to keep in mind that volunteer coaching and everything is still, an option. There will be people that are volunteering themselves to be coaching. I've already talked to several people about it. And even if we can just get non-high-risk sports, that's something. And I feel like bringing this forward is doing a lot for the community and for our students, like by me coming here and my fellow students coming here. And I would just like to thank everybody for their time and for the last time I spoke here. And yeah.
My name is Jordan Palmer. I'm a senior at Riverhead High School, and I also kind of want to bring up the thought on the revote for sports and extracurricular activities. Just the other day, the New York State Public High School Athletic Association permitted low to moderate risk sports to play on November 30th, which for us includes bowling and indoor track and field. Low-risk sports should be funded here at our school because a lot of us do play them and are involved in them. Although we probably will not be able to play high-risk sports as my own, basketball, we should still be recognized. I bought in my Riverhead R that I got last year at the Varsity Awards, and I got my New York State Public High School Athletic Association Scholar Athlete pin. 2 years ago, when I entered high school, I was the worst student in the world. I hated going to school, I hated doing schoolwork, and I was failing almost every class. Sports gave me an opportunity to continue my education and to end up striving in it. My coaches and my fellow teammates pushed me to keep going, and sports gave a lot of us students a reason to get our grades up and to keep doing well. Sports give us a bigger variety of opportunities and scholarships. A lot of us have missed out on scholarships, as I brought up in the last board meeting. I missed out on my entire scholarships for this year to go to college. I've decided not to play in college because of this. Girls basketball is scheduled to start January 11th of 2021, same with boys basketball. It's a shame that I won't be able to play with the girls that I've played with since middle school. Our high-risk sports should be recognized with at least a dinner or to be able to receive our last Riverhead R. I believe we should have fundraisers, and each sport should host a fundraiser with their booster club to raise money to get those sports back on gear for next year so more students don't miss out. I just want to say that as seniors, we've worked for 12 years, and it's a little disappointing to have this taken away as badly as it has. So thank you.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Greg Fisher. I live in Calverton. I have 2 children in the district. I'm going to hand up some documents.
Please put your mask on when you're walking around.
Here's what we got. We're
Thank
way
you.
past the
Thank you,
time
Mr.
of
Fisher.
pushback. Because the mask doesn't prevent anything for anybody. We have 2 domains we should be thinking about. And if the mask did prevent anything, when I got up here a year and a half ago and I said we should have masks in the classrooms for any coughing or sneezing child, a suggestion that was ignored, if it meant anything, you actually would have done something, but you didn't. We all know the masks don't keep people well. There's 2 domains, getting the infection and becoming acutely ill. We're all going to get infected. There's approximately 12,000 strains, 200 of which we need to worry about. You can catch multiple strains at any one time. So, the questions we went through outside mean nothing in terms of COVID-19. I don't have anybody's HIPAA release. I don't know if they were sick or not. I don't know what countries they went to. I don't know if their fever is from a chemotherapy reaction or an allergy or something else. We're involved in a great religion, not disease prevention. Disease prevention, it starts with education in the grade schools. If we were not to teach English, math, history, we would be considered abusing those children, but we don't teach them health. We don't teach them what they need, even in terms of the RDAs, the minimum daily adult requirements in nutrition. People are getting sick because they're absent that. The recent studies show that 95% of people in nursing homes that perished had no spectral detectable vitamin C in their blood. They had scurvy. They were liquefying. Their endothelial linings in their blood vessels were breached They were dying, they were clotting up. That was the cause of death in most cases. So in this that I've passed up is a general health protocol. And I would ask that so we immediately modify or offer as an extracurricular some way to teach these children to be well and for their families to be well. Because the truth is, I've done videos with doctors in Shanghai and Wuhan and all over this country, doctors teaching in medical schools. And what I'm saying is accurate. 25 grams IV drip, vitamin C, will keep 100% of people dying from COVID. 100%. If they're on their way into an emergency room or ER, you give it to them, they're fine. They come out alive. If you give them high dose, what's called high dose vitamin C, on a daily basis during flu season, they don't get acutely sick. The mask does nothing. Hot air, heating, blowing viruses around, air conditioning, blowing viruses around, being on a rail car, an elevator, any other time, you're going to get infected with multiple strains. So we need to end this religion of what we're doing. It's not a public health protocol. It stops nothing. And there's no reason why these kids shouldn't be in sports. Any sport. It doesn't matter. I've distributed over 500,000 copies of this electronically on the internet. It's close to 7,000 by hand. Nobody has said that they got sick after they did this. Nobody's come back dead from the IV drips. Nobody. At times when hospitals were losing 100% of patients. None. So we are ignorant, ignoring, and we're not teaching these kids how to be well. And that really needs to change, and we need to push back. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Anyone else?
Yeah, hi, my name is Steve Brown, and I'm a father of a student athlete in 11th grade. I just want clarification. Is there going to be another vote on using the emergency money, or is that still to be determined?
What, Mr. Dorr, you were talking about what, for sports?
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
to use the money for programs and sports and other activities, clubs that the kids are now being denied.
We have already used some money for clubs. However, Mr. Dorr, we all had a conversation in executive session, and we came to the conclusion we're going to wait get a little bit more information before we can vote on something.
Okay, so it's not definite that there's going to be another vote yet then?
I didn't say,
Okay.
I didn't say
No,
that.
no, yeah, you said you're going to gain more information, so it's not...
We got to get more information, yes.
Right, well, my suggestion is when there is a vote, if there is a vote, please have all 7 members vote, because someone was missing last time, and that's not a real accurate vote for the kids, okay? Whether you decide to do it or not do it, everyone needs to be present to do it. And I know things come up, people have lives, so then the last time the vote should have been postponed. All right, but all 7 people need to be present. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Madam President, I just want to clarify that in August, we had stated that we would revisit it at the end of this year because of the state aid and all the other things in motion that we don't know how we may need the unassigned fund balance. So then we brought it up again in September, and we all agreed again to postpone until we have further numbers in the terms of health insurance that we have to pay. We have a lot of mandates that we have to pay so that we're not solvent for next year. So with that, tonight we brought it up again. We're all in agreement that we need more information on how to move forward in a smart budgetary way so that we can still educate every child the way they should in our district. So just be patient, I understand. I would love to click and just transfer some money over. My heart breaks every time, and I know all of us here. These are tough decisions for us all, but please be patient. We're with you, we understand. And if you can just give us a little bit more time, so that we can see how the numbers lie.
Thank you, Dr.
If I, can I
Not-
say something? Just 1 second. We have given charge to Ms. Tona to run some other information for us and numbers so that we can make a more prudent decision. So we are asking all the right questions.
Not all of us were in favor to waiting to the end of the year. I was in favor of putting through using the unappropriated fund balance right away to give these students what they deserve. And as long as I have a say, there will be another vote.
Go ahead, sweetheart.
I just have one last thing to add. At the end of last time's board meeting, there was a article put out about us on News Review and Riverhead Local. Nicholas and I really caught that end of the stick on that one, and we got a lot of negative hate from the community about it. We got called many names in the book, and they called our class whiners and complainers. We simply just want to be able to communicate with you guys how we feel and what we feel like we need and we deserve. We just want you guys to listen and to hear us. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Kathy. I usually don't do this, but I've had a tough, also like every other person through our school district. There is anger.
Could you please
I agree
put your
with
mask
Mr.
up,
Wallace.
please?
Sorry, there is anger.
Your mask, could you please put your
Oh,
mask up?
talking in, okay. So there is anger. I think out of 9 out of 10 people that I speak to feel like the school district has failed these students. Other school districts, they're in school many more days than we are. If they're not in school, they're on Zoom. So I think there's a failure there. As far as the sports and the music and the arts, these kids deserve it. When there's a vote, the board members should be there. The lives of these kids has been totally taken out from underneath them, and I really think there at least should be another revote. These kids deserve it. They're not going to get their junior year back. They're not going to get their senior year back. So please, for the sake of, I know there's money issues and stuff like that, and mandates. Maybe those mandates can be reconsidered. It's difficult times. Do it, please. I'm begging you to please reconsider at least a revote. Thank you.
Before you leave, ma'am, could you give your first and last name for the district
Oh,
clerk?
Kathy Brown.
Thank you. Hi, first and last name?
April Hillis.
Thank you.
I have 3 children in the district. I have a Pulaski, 6th grade. I have a new 9th grader in the high school and a senior. Obviously, in 13 years in the district now, we've seen a lot going on, a lot changing. Budgets, not budgets, COVID. A lot of complaints. I've listened to Mr. Wallace a few times now. It's a shame. There's been so many good teachers. Of course, some that aren't. I'm pretty involved. Spoke to Mrs. Tona a few times, spoke to Mr. O'Hara, whoever I have to, try to keep involved. The seniors, I'm all for it. I have it on every side right now with my kids. I have a senior missing out. I'm doing colleges. I have a new 9th grader taking it all on, and I have a 6th grade little boy who's struggling big time. And what I see is not the teachers not doing their job. I see all of our, everything going to our diversity. And now there's been a large group of our population that's now being put into a different spot, and I feel everything's being brought down to another level, and the kids aren't getting what they need. And I want the sports, I want the clubs, I want all that too. And I'm glad I've come. I've heard you vote to get the partition so the kids can go back. I heard what I wanted to hear tonight about working on getting live education up. What Kathy just said, other districts are doing it, budget or not budget, there's things that you can work out. But all the answers I'm getting on the things that I'm looking for my kids, usually the answer is because so many can't or so many don't have. And that it's a horrible situation. And tonight you spoke about a task force that sounds like it's going to start addressing some of these situations too. So I am hearing the things I want to hear, but at this moment it is still affecting. I know what's going on with my children personally, and I see how it affects every single one of them, where I feel like they're being brought down to whatever level we need to deal with as now a majority in the district, and it's not right. And that's why the teachers are getting a bad rap. Teachers are getting, I have a teacher, my son's teacher, Linda Campo, I shout out to her, she's amazing. And I knew she was amazing, and I asked for her because I had a horrible situation last year. And she's doing everything she can for my son because what she's told she can do, what she's told she's allowed to do, is not enough. It's not enough for him, it's not enough for many of the kids in the class. But all the answers are who can't, who's not on, who's not coming in, who has this many children, all these things. And I understand it, I do, and I think it's sad, and I want it to be addressed.
Your time is up. Could you just wrap it up a little
Yes,
bit?
but that's what I mean, the teachers shouldn't be getting the bad rap. It's everyone else who's giving them, they're telling them how they have to do things, how much time they have to spend. If the kids aren't in, they can't teach live. So they're learning the same things over again because the other kids aren't involved. There's a lot of people and a lot of kids who are at different levels. It needs to be addressed in that way, not just our lowest level. And I personally feel, and a lot of people feel in the community, that that's what we're working on. We're only working at our lowest level. And there's so many that are missing out in all aspects, from the sports to the little kids who aren't getting what they need in the classroom. And I'm
Thank you.
sorry that that comes down to the teachers getting it on them, because I don't believe it's the teachers. Can I just say one more thing? I'm sorry.
Sure.
It's a separate issue, and I know you're talking about the revote, and that would be great. I agree. I think there should be a revote. Chris Dors has spoke, not just last meeting, the meeting before, about asking about volunteering for like intramural programs and stuff like that. I know it was said you can't do it publicly, and you were gonna, I guess you talk about that outside in the other meeting. Is that part of that revote? Talking about asking people for volunteers?
She's talking about a comment you made at last. What about intramurals?
On the volunteer.
Yeah, volunteering.
I've spoken to a lot of coaches who would like to volunteer, but it has to be a negotiated item with the union.
That was the answer from last meeting.
Yes.
Okay, so that doesn't have to do with the revote. That has to do with the reserve money for sports and clubs.
Right. If we have people that could volunteer, then there wouldn't be the cost. They would volunteer their time because it's for the kids.
Understandable, and I agree. I just was, because now I'm seeing how the meeting's working. You brought it up more than once, and it didn't seem to have come to any kind of
Unfortunately, it has to be negotiated.
Okay, that's the answer. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, hon. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just want to say, not to end on anything negative, I want to thank you guys for doing what you do, because everybody's trying. It's difficult times. The teachers are doing a great job. Everybody's doing the best they can. So we don't want to make it sound like we're like trying to give you a real hard time. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else in the audience, Miss Lisa, you got email question?
Okay, there are two questions tonight. The first is from Mary Mackey from Baiting Hollow. She says, I am the Riverhead High School PTSO president. Respectfully, I ask the board to please consider reinstating the 9th and 10th grade advisors at a cost of $4,300. These classes need advisors. There are things being planned throughout the year, and we need these students to have representatives. I know what was kept in the high school, and I thank you for that. The underclasses cannot get left out as this year unfolds, as we plan safe and fun events for all of the high school students. I would have been there in person, but I have tested positive for COVID and must quarantine. Please reach out to me if any of you would like to discuss this further. Thank you for all you do.
Ms. Stoner, can you?
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Mackey, for your comment to the board. Mrs. Mackey is asking if the board wants to entertain adding 9th and 10th grade class advisors. When the contingent budget was developed, advisors for 11th and 12th grade were included because those grades hopefully will have end of the year activities that would typically go with a junior and senior class. We've also included Honor Society advisor and student government advisor and high school yearbook advisor. So Mr. O'Hara has indicated that the student government advisor is working with the junior and senior class advisors along with the high school administration to make sure that all activities that are developed give some opportunities for the 9th and 10th grade students as well. So beyond that, that would be a decision for the Board of Education.
Thank you.
Can you just explain what it would mean to bring the 9th and 10th grade student advisors back? Did I hear it was $4,300?
Honestly, I'm not sure how much different it would look than what's happening now because the 9th and 10th grade students are included in the activities that are being planned.
I understand that, but it's not individual as it used to be. The 9th grade, 10th, everything was...
Because a 9th grade advisor would stay with the students all the way through and ultimately be with them in their senior year.
Right.
So 11th and 12th grade are the years when they have more activities. So because of contingency, we were very selective about which advisors to bring back and which clubs to run.
Right.
So we felt that the 9th and 10th grade students were not being ignored by planning inclusive of the junior and senior class advisors along with student government advisor. And
Okay.
students, as was shared earlier, students have had a voice in the process through a forum.
Is there a way that we could find out more what it would entail to bring the 9th and 10th graders back, just to include them on a personal involved level, or is
The
this...
9th and 10th grade students will be involved in planning activities as well. I know
They're
Mr.
just not
O'Hara-
identified as class advisors?
Class advisors are the teachers
I
that
mean, yes.
work with those grades. So 9th and 10th grade students, generally the advisor helps them with their floats at homecoming time. There might be some other activities that it's definitely more important for the junior and senior year because there's proms and other activities that are planned. But the advisors that the students have from 9th grade carry through till 12th. So next year, the 10th grade advisor that's selected will be with them for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And whoever was the 9th grade advisor last year would most likely be offered the opportunity to be the 11th and 12th grade advisor next year, if they're interested.
What, Lori?
The advisor follows them as they go up in grade.
I'm just curious if it's, that catastrophic to have a 9th and 10th grade
Yeah,
student. So
if I can-
I would be in favor of bringing the 9th and 10th grade back.
I'd like to talk about that as we're planning with the other information in 2 weeks.
We could discuss this.
Yes, we
Okay,
can discuss
we
it
could
further.
put it on to the November 24th
Put it
agenda
on to the
for
next
old
meeting.
business for discussion, and if the board wishes to put it to a vote, you can at that time.
Exactly. Is everyone okay with that? We'll discuss it at the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Lisa?
Okay, the last comment is from Aish Michelle from Riverhead. Many concerns have been raised about Roanoke Avenue School's ability to maintain any kind of adequate distance between students for 5-day in-person learning starting next month. The health department still puts precedence on distance between contacts over any other measures or barriers when determining actions taken if a positive case arises. Risk of spreading and needing to quarantine will go up tremendously. When will the teachers, principals, and other appropriate staff be consulted with and have their concerns addressed?
So thank you for your question. We've had multiple meetings about the reentry to full-time instruction for our K-4 and ultimately 5th and 6th grade students as well. Teachers have been involved in conversations. They've expressed their concerns. We have regular meetings with the administrators of the district. The building administration is meeting with their teachers. We recognize that there is no perfect solution for bringing the students back full-time. The barriers will allow the students to return to full-time instruction. However, they will be seated less than 6 feet apart, but we're going to put them as far apart as we possibly can. Students will continue to wear masks, and the barriers will be an added level of protection. Other districts have brought their students back full-time with barriers. We're monitoring the infection rate in those districts. We keep a close eye. As of right now, we haven't seen too many positive cases from the students, the elementary students that have come back full-time in other districts. But of course, with the current health situation being very unstable with increasing positive cases, we'll continue to monitor, and if necessary, I communicate with the board on a regular basis, so I will share any recommendations that possibly need to be changed based on current health conditions. So it's definitely not an exact science, and we're doing our best to do the best that we can for our students, both academically as well as health and safety.
Thank you. Said it, Ms. Lisa?
That was the last comment.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on the board have any more comments to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to add, because I was at one of the task force, and I hear that a lot, that they're saying that the principals and the staff are not involved in decision making, and it's not what I've seen. It's been every step of the way, and their input is highly valued and sought. And I think any decisions being made is at that school level, at that we're asking, and we're not moving forward without that input. I also want to, just to clarify, when they're asking 4,300, that's divided by 2. It's not 4,300 for each advisor. It's 2,000. I have the number here.
I think it was like $2,250 an advisor.
Correct, 2,152. 2,152. And the PTSO has been doing a lot of work and planning for those 9th and 10th graders. And so I think that's why they were asking that. At least they're not getting, they're going to be going back to school at least twice a week, and that there's something for them to look forward to with the events. And then talking about some of the events, I do want to say I want to thank the RCFA, because they did donate the chalk and supply for the Chalk the Walk for Spirit Week. So thank you.
Anyone else? Not seeing anyone else.
I like to just say, everybody mark their calendar with our budget calendar. Please stay informed. We will start going through our series of parts for our budget, and please get the word out and have everybody come out and vote in May, so we don't have to continue these discussions that break our hearts. Thank you.
Not seeing anyone else. Could I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Hanley. All in favor? Hanley, I know. Healy, I know. I pronounce it different. Thank you. All in favor, pass. Thank you, everybody. See you in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mrs. Down.